The fact of the matter is, whether you've been in network marketing for years or just a few days, your family and friends have seen your opportunity and your phone is, as we call it, burnt. If you're anything like me, that's a scary thought. So the big question is, how do entrepreneurs like us, who love the network marketing profession, who no longer want to be that guy, and are tired of convincing people during uncomfortable let's get coffee meetings where they say, what's this all about? How do we market in a way that aligns us with our dream clients and expands our network of upfront and transparent professionals, allowing us to get our time back, our families back, and gain a real passive asset? People like us who value impact over income, we deserve to see our visions once and for all. Join me in this podcast where we'll uncover just how to do that. My name is Eric Sablon. Welcome to Burnt Phone Marketing. Hey guys, Eric Sablon here with Burnt Phone Marketing Radio, and I'm super excited. I have a former pro bodybuilder, the founder of a unique beverage company, no pun intended, a hardworking striver who refuses to conform to the world standards. He's a father, he's a husband. Please welcome the CEO and founder of Unique Beverages, Chris Cook, to the show. Chris, welcome to the show.
Eric, thanks a lot, man. I'm excited to be here.
Man, I can't believe we did this. We literally did a show in Anchorage, Alaska together last week, and we blew the socks off of our customers. And Chris came out and kind of talked a little bit about the brand. But, you know, really what I'd like to do is have you tell a little bit about your backstory and where you came from, and then we'll go in a little bit about your business. So, Chris, tell us a little about your backstory. And, you know, I got some stories that I want to tell about our relationship, but a little bit of the backstory of, you know, how Chris Cook came to be.
I've got this weird eclectic pathway to getting where I'm at. You know, none of it was planned, and it's really just been a lot of focus on hard work and trying to do the right things ultimately. But to make a long story short, I was a failed athlete in high school that had less options than I really wanted, really. And so I decided to join the military basically right after I graduated. And that took me to Anchorage, Alaska. I ended up in the Air Force, and you know, I spent my whole life training out for a few hours in whichever respective sport I'm doing. I was a wrestler primarily, also a football player and a swimmer. And then suddenly you're thrust into the real world, and after you get out of work, there's, you know, what do you do with yourself? So I started just going to the gym and working out, and my body really took to it, and I gained a lot of muscle really quickly. And an old friend of mine now that I didn't know then, a guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, you ever thought about doing a bodybuilding show?" And I said, "Well, what's that?" And he said, and he kind of explained what it was, and told me he would help me with my diet and do everything for me. Basically, I just had to tell everybody that he trained me. His name was Larry Irvine, and this day, you know, I love Larry. He's a great guy. But so that catapulted me into a position saying, okay, look, I'm not going to be a professional athlete in traditional sense, so I'm going to do this. And I did my first show when I was 19, and I won Mr. Anchorage, and I was hooked. And so I just continued there, and eventually turned pro in 2004, and then continued on that pro career for the next years before I decided to retire. So at 29 years old, 89, getting ready to be 30, I wanted to have kids, and you know, bodybuilding was my life. But in order to have kids, I really had to stop bodybuilding because of all the supplementation things that you take. So I decided to do that. And when I did that, I transitioned to the finance business from a professional perspective, and then from an athletic perspective, I got into MMA. Because I was a wrestler my entire life, so I was kind of always really intrigued with this whole MMA thing. And so when I got introduced to MMA, the gym I started training at had Monster in the fridge, and I ended up drinking this stuff because it was like the perfect fit. I was getting up at 4 a.m. For the finance business, working 12-hour days, getting to the gym and training for a couple of hours a day, and then getting to bed at midnight, and doing that 5 days a week or 6 days a week. So it was the perfect fit until it wasn't. 2011, I ended up in the hospital with heart palpitations.
Wow.
And, I was in fight shape. So, I wasn't, like some out of shape person sitting at a computer terminal, eating bonbons every day. I was literally in shape and pursuing a healthy lifestyle when this happened. So that sparked for me just a very basic question, like what is it in the ingredient profile of energy drinks that could put somebody like me into a position like this, where literally I'm in the hospital having to get treated to get my heart rate back to normal. And that, basically began the path of trying to find an ingredient that would stimulate my brain without stimulating my heart. Because after that moment, that little situation, I couldn't even drink a regular cup of coffee without getting really jittery.
Oh.
So, but yet I'm still getting up and getting to bed late. So I've got to solve for this. And as I thought through the process, like what's the purpose of this energy that I think I need, right? And I discovered really it's a cognitive issue. When as I had conversations with other people, it's the same issue, right? It's really not a physiological tired, right? So you don't need an elevated heart rate to be awake and alert. You need a cognitive boost, a feel good kind of euphoric sensation that helps you stay alert, etc. So I started trying to experiment with various ingredients uh, to solve for that. And I came across the product called reishi mushroom, been around for 3,000 years and originally discovered in China. Still to this day, very heavily used in the eastern side of the world, not so much on the western side of the world because the flavoring is not really like the Western culture. We're not a big mushroom consumer, type of, economy here. So I started experimenting with the extract on various friends and family to see if they got the same cognitive feeling that I did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was universal. The way to describe it was almost like a natural. They've described these products. It's called nootropics. And some of them have been scrutinized a little bit, but the bottom line is the objective is to bolster your cognitive activity and your ability to think and have cognitive function, and finding supplements to do that. And that's exactly what reishi does, among a whole laundry list of medicinal benefit that it does as well. You got to be careful when making claims about these things, but if you read about this stuff on Google, you'll be amazed. It's one of these things that you probably take as a supplement every day anyway. So then I went from there to implement this into a beverage so that people can consume this in an enjoyable manner, because if you take the extract, it's pretty gross, frankly. So putting this into a flavorful, enjoyable beverage became the objective. And so that really is the foundation of why I started Unique. And now my world is educating. You don't need 300 milligrams of caffeine to get you over this hump, right? It's a cognitive issue. So you have this feel good experience without putting yourself.
Yeah. So our story is super cool. And first off, thanks for your service. I appreciate that. And what I love about your story, and literally we were sitting at a table in a conference room about a year, I don't know, it was probably less than a year ago. It was probably around August of last year. And I met you and I'm like, this guy's the real deal. He has a real story. He has something that really, I don't know, it just kind of comes off of you. It's so honest, it's so true, and the person that you are just kind of builds it. And coming from MMA and coming from wrestling and coming from bodybuilding, those sports are one person sports that you really have to focus on yourself. And I love that you created a product out of a problem that you had, and you're solving a problem in a big industry. I mean, it's a billion dollar industry, the beverage industry. And I in my business, I actually sell groceries to rural Alaska, and it's important that we're getting buy-in from all of our customers, because it's actually a really, really good beverage and it has an awesome mission. So, thank you again. Thank you for your service, and thank you for everything that you've done for us overall. We kind of talked about the business. I want to actually ask
Cheers.
you, there it is. I want to actually ask you, when you first started off in the business, what was a couple of marketing tips that you give? Because the space is super crowded, super crowded. So what have you done to kind of get your name out there on either on social media? What have you been doing on social media to help elevate the brand and get your message out there?
Eric, that's a great question. And to be completely honest with you, the one thing I'm really not that great out at in my entire life is self promotion. Right? I'm a kind of connecting with those sports that you're talking about. For me, the reason why bodybuilding was it fits so well was because you just put your head down, you grind and you train. And I just enjoyed that painful process and that personal challenge. I don't need a lot to happen for me to get that feel good sensation. It's very internal.
Mm-hmm.
So to be completely honest with you, the marketing side has been very difficult for me because the social media platform requires your ability to go out there and self promote and do
Mm-hmm.
exactly the kind of the selfie culture. And I'm not naturally a selfie culture kind of guy, right? Like I want the work that I do to speak for what it is and then let that grow organically. But the reality of it is that when you start a new beverage like this in an extremely competitive segment like you're talking about, which is just non-alcoholic beverages in general, but then in the functional category, and then a layer over that is, some folks, want to attach this beverage to energy. I don't really. I view ourselves as a nootropic that kind of, it has an energy and feel good component to it, but it's not an energy drink, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on the social media side, the reality of it is we do have on Instagram, we do have a Facebook. We're going to be starting up. I think that we're starting to focus on, and we're creating a plan to get more, to get out there more and
Mm-hmm.
and get me in front of the camera just like this and tell the story. But putting the thing I want to be careful about doing is that this is a real product with a real objective.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Cycles kind of promoter. That's not what I'm interested in doing. I'm really interested in telling a story and having people hear about something, or even philosophically, this big promotion about high kind of rocket fuel, high caffeine type of products out there is just the exact opposite of what I believe that people need, even in the training segments. So for even fitness, people believe that, because it's been promoted this way, that these pre-workouts have to be this rocket fuel. And the reality of it is this non-stimulatory cognitive boost is really what you want, so that the physical action that you take part in, whether it's running, or wrestling or swimming or bodybuilding, letting that be the function itself, be what elevates your heart rate and take the next level. So the reality of his social media is an incredible platform. I need to take more advantage of it, just like we're doing here, and tell a story and get some folks to hear about the other side of what of functional supplements and beverages beyond just huge stimulants.
It's tough because you've got so many marketing, you got so many marketing dollars, like, the big brands like the Cokes, the Pepsis, and they're buying out energy drinks and they're just throwing money and advertising at it. And what I love about what you're doing, and this is where I really jumped on board, was you're literally throwing rocks at those brands in a nice way, because you're not marching the same. You're not saying it's got this and it's got this and it's all the call letters, all the call words that we're hearing about, the taurine and all this stuff. You're actually making something that literally changes the way, and that's probably the hardest thing for you right now is, you're not in that same sector as you can't use those same words. You're using words like cognitive function. You're using words like stimulant. You're using words that are different from the regular marketing that you're getting. But when you try it, it's insane. And when you use it, it's amazing and you feel great. And it's just, it's going to be a longer journey, but once you get those followers, it's going to be insane. So you guys, you got to try it. We'll actually post a link in here where you guys can order some for yourself, because it's fantastic. It's an amazing product. I mean, I sell tons of it, so that's my sales pitch right there, guys. So just know that I'm going to ask you to buy some later on, but we'll continue with the interview. So I actually want to talk to you. You've been, the business has been growing for the past couple of years. What would be the one thing that you would have told yourself when you first started the business, like before you signed the deal, because I know you had a lot of ideas and you were solving a problem. What would be the one business thing you would have told yourself the minute you signed the deal to create Unique Beverages? What would be the one thing you would have told yourself to scale the business faster?
That's a great question. The reality of it is that in order to promote a non-alcoholic, cold shelf beverage like this, there's the base issue you have is fighting for space, right?
Mm-hmm.
And gaining that presence within each store. You can do all the promoting you want, but if there's nowhere to buy it, then it's really difficult to sell it. And then people say, well, what about the e-commerce platform these days, like Amazon? Amazon's phenomenal. We actually do a lot of business on Amazon, but the problem with Amazon is that first trial, there's too much risk because you have to buy a case at a time. You can't buy one can or two cans. And so when folks look and say, gosh, I'm not sure I want to spend $25 on something that I'm not sure I'm going to like, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the building the business there organically becomes sometimes difficult. So the bottom line is that when I got into the business, I felt pretty smart. I felt pretty wealthy. I had the good fortune of doing and having a great background in bodybuilding. I made some money there, and then I got into the finance business, and I made more money than I ever thought I would. And I thought, you know what, I've got this, and I should have partnered and raised more capital at that point to help me explode more heavily into the market. And it just takes a lot of marketing dollars. The other component that the marketing dollars would help me devise marketing plans and objectives, focusing in on social media and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then also on the human capital side, the experience that people need, they need to actually have the experience in order to become an adapter.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you do that is promoting by giving away cans. You've got to have people on the street telling the story, giving away samples so that folks can go, oh, hey, wow, this is actually pretty good. Where can I buy it? And then that begins the process. So capital is an incredibly important role here. And whenever you build a business plan, inevitably, you say, okay, I think I need $5 million to do this. You're going to need 10. And that's just the way it is. It's tough to absorb that. You're like, gosh, and we were talking about big numbers, but we've been able to raise some good capital, and we're getting through that. But there's it's just easy to underestimate how darn expensive this is. Our issue is sell-in, right? Getting it into stores, which can be very expensive with slotting fees and other things like that. We've never had a sell-through problem. It's whenever we have good presence in stores and we're set up right, it always sells very good. And when that customer base starts to grow, we have on average about between 30 to 40% same store growth year over year. And so very successful there. We just got to get the world to know that we exist. So yeah, capital is a big piece.
Okay. That's actually super funny because when I was younger, Red Bull just had come out, and it's a different brand, but the guy that was actually distributing it would drop it off at our location. And I was in a car audio store, and he goes, "Hey man, just put this out there and give this to customers." like he would drop a case off every single week, and he'd be like, just try some and give some to your customers. And then it exploded. I mean, that brand exploded. And I mean, look at it now, but there was a lot of promotion involved. The guy was dropping off cases to car audio places, all of the car audio places that were out in Alaska. And that's weird because we're such a small market, but that's what he did. And guys, that's what he did. There's a lot of giving of free product in the marketing side. I mean, how many of you guys have a free offer? Because I'm talking to some marketing guys out there. How many guys have a free offer? And you have so many people that just free offer, free offer, free offer. They're free offering everything and not like building on the back end. So just remember, I mean, there's some promotional dollars that you're going to have to spend up front to get your name, your brand, to get the loyal customers out there. Because once you get those loyal customers, you have a rock star. I mean, you have things that are going to build through that. And I love being a part of this journey because we're like right here at the cusp of when things are going to take off, I'm feeling. So I'm super excited to be here. And it's awesome that you took the time out to take this interview with me. So right now, I know there's a lot of product development going on. So Chris, what are you working on right now? I mean, there's a lot of call letters out there. What are you working on right now that you're super excited about?
Well, there's a fundamental theme behind what we're trying to do, and that is health and wellness, right? And looking at this segment of functional beverages and always trying to think through how to take things to the next level. And one of the things, it's just an interesting quick story. I've had some battles with some cancer on my face and just from the sun, from on my face and on my shoulders. So I've had to have it removed. So one of the last times that this came about, my mom insisted that she send me something to try rubbing on this cancer spot to see if it would help. Right? Mm-hmm. She thought the downside is if it doesn't work, you have to get it cut out anyway. It doesn't matter. Right. So what she sent me was a vial of raw full spectrum CBD. Okay. And look, I'm not, really involved previous to this in the hemp world at all. I don't smoke marijuana. That's just not my lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So when I sent it, or when I received it, I started applying this stuff, 2 or 3 times a day and just gave it a shot. And about 3 weeks later, I'm getting out of the shower and I'm looking at this spot on my clavicle and it's kind of itchy. So I'm rubbing it and it literally flakes off like a scab.
Wow.
And I'm looking at it and underneath it is brand new white, just brand new skin. And I'm kind of like baffled at this whole thing. I mean, I've literally had it cut out 4 or 5 different times on my face and then a few different times on my shoulders. So very familiar with the process. I know exactly what I'm dealing with. And then suddenly, I mean, literally it cured cancer right? Like, I mean, I'm baffled at this entire thing. So when that happened, I said, I got to figure out a way to get this stuff in a beverage. I mean, mm-hmm. this is life-changing, game-changing type of stuff here. And so I worked for about a year in developing a product. Basically, the problem with CBD is it has kind of a relaxing, anti-anxiety, physiological feeling, right? So it can bring you kind of down. It's good for post-workouts or end of the day kind of chill, relax. It has no THC, so it doesn't get you high, but good physiological relaxation. So I thought that if I combined it with my Life Boost formula of the unique, right, with reishi mushroom, green tea, B vitamins, and cannabidiol, now what I would have is the physiological relaxation, the healing, anti-anxiety, but then the cognitive boost that reishi is going to give you so you're functional, right? So the idea is to have the first real, truly functional CBD beverage out there. And so the goal was to put 25 milligrams of full spectrum CBD in this beverage combined with my Life Boost. And we developed a product. It's actually right here. Let's see, you can zoom in here.
Cubed.
It's called Cube. Yeah. And the idea was to craftfully come up with a name that said CBD without saying it. And so Cube, while also leveraging kind of the three components, which is, as it says on the can, brain, body, and life. Brain being the reishi mushroom cognitive feel-good experience, body being the cannabidiol that I was explaining, and life being the green tea components and the supplements or the benefits that you get out of green tea. Not the caffeine side of green tea, but all of the medicinal component. And so, yeah, we've slowly began to roll this out into the market in areas where, from a legal perspective, things are conducive of that, and it's just taken off. It's doing phenomenal. So we're going to continue to expand on that. It's a separate brand than Unique Life Boost, but attached, if you will, because Unique Life Boost owns the company. But yeah, it's continuing to drive and doing very well, and we're excited to get the world to know it exists as well.
So I just wanted to kind of recap on the audience. Did you guys listen to what Chris said? There's some marketing behind it. He took another product and he basically built it through, three pillars that he runs his business off of. And, guys, you got to listen to that. You got to kind of listen. That's the biggest nugget I pulled from that. So guys, think about what you're doing in your marketing. Think about what your product is, and make sure it lines up in the pillars that you're actually projecting. And, like I said, with Chris, he projects that all the time. So he cares about the company. He cares about his clients. He cares about everybody that he's working with. So that's why, you can feel it in this interview. You can feel that when he launches a product, the product that he launches, he's fully behind. And it's an amazing to just find a business owner, a CEO, a founder that has that integrity and has that behind him. So thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. That's an awesome story. And definitely I'm excited to try the Cube, and I'm excited to move forward with the Cube once we get everything dialed in.
That's awesome. I appreciate it.
So we're actually going to create a landing page so you can link to all of Chris's stuff. So I'm actually going to do it a little bit different. Normally I put Chris on there, but I'm going to do www.burnedphone.marketing/unique. So that'll be the landing page where you'll be able to do a snippet of this interview. You'll be able to link to the full interview, and you'll also be able to link to Chris on Facebook, and then also link to the Unique product so you can peruse and take a look at what it is that he has to offer, because it's a phenomenal product. The last thing I want to ask you, and you've been on stages around the world, you've pitched a lot of deals, you've done things, you've grown businesses, you've been on the MMA front. So I'm going to picture this. You're closing out the biggest beverage convention in the world. The biggest beverage convention in the world. You got your suit on. You got everything dialed in. You're looking dapper like you always do. What is the mic drop saying for Chris Cook? What is the one thing that every time someone walks out of a convention, walks out of an event, walks out of something that you've presented on, what is the one thing that you want them to always think about when they think Chris Cook?
Well, look, the product is the foundation of it is really simple. It's sustainable feel good. It's the bridge between health and energy, right? The thought that your 10-year-old can go to a 76 station and buy something that may put them in cardiac arrest really scared the tar out of me, actually. And so that's what I have solved for here. It's a real issue, but it solves for it in a manner that actually does exactly what you're looking for. And that's what, whenever the user experience is universal, everyone who tries it, the flavor, obviously, the consumable experience is something they enjoy, but 2 hours later they turn and go, man, I just feel good. And they don't have that crash. They don't have the jitters on all the different things that they're used to with all these, high stimulatory. So the mic drop is is sustainable feel good in a manner that's healthy and good for you, period.
Boom. That is the mic drop. That is definitely the mic drop. Well, we're coming up on time, guys, and I'm going to be definitely good with Chris's time because he's got a lot of stuff going on. I know he's hitting the road this week or next week, and he's like just left. He just flew up to Alaska and did a 3-day event with me. So again, thank you, Chris. I appreciate you guys. Guys, always remember, I got some new stuff. I got a new free offer that you guys can get. So be sure you listen to the full outro of the podcast, and we'll be giving away some free stuff. Make sure you link to Chris's website, www.burnfoammarketing.com/unique, and we'll get you some information so you can try out this product. Again, it's a phenomenal product. It helps your brain. It helps what you're doing, and just try it. Give it a shot, guys. It's a phenomenal product. You will not be disappointed. Chris, thank you for your time. Do you have any last sayings that you want to address the audience with?
Hey, look, the foundation of this company is built with my heart, and we really are trying to do the right thing out there, and the beverage speaks to that for sure. I appreciate all the help that I can get with just getting the world to know we exist, Eric. I appreciate you having me on here and having the opportunity to tell the story. So, anybody wants to hit us up, they can go to our info page at uniquebev.com and shoot us an email. We respond to everybody. And I look forward to meeting more people out there and helping them, get on the healthy side of functionality.
Awesome. So Chris, thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Always listen to the full outro. Make sure you hit Chris up on social media. And guys, we will see you on the next episode of Burnt Foam Marketing Radio. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Thanks, Eric.
Are you tired of not getting Facebook interactions on your posts? Or if you do, it's people that are already on your team or people that are already in your business? Well, we've solved that problem. We've created a system that helps you generate leads on autopilot, climb ranks, promote your services, sell more products, and become a leader effortlessly without spamming your friends and family ever. So take our free 5-day course, go to www.burntphonebots.com and click the link, and we will see you on the other side. Again, that's www.burntphonebots.com. All right, guys, see you on the training.